guys, good morning. Welcome to yet another amazing day. Let's do our best and let's start working, okay? Now, while you were working on the listening, they spoke about life in the oasis, yet they never told us how it was like, okay? Now they will. You are going to read all about it in this amazing reading, okay? So, before we start reading, let's see some images of how life in an oasis is. Okay, that's life in the desert. And then you have the oasis. And water. That's an ibis.
Happy to learn.
Okay, that was really nice. Now let's read all about it, okay? So I'm going to put the tape and you will read along, okay? Perfect.
Life in the oasis. Thirsty and tired, you drag your body across the hot sands in the Egyptian desert. Suddenly, you see water. Is it a mirage? No, it's a miracle. There is a lush cluster of palms and fruit trees beside a small lake. A small village thrives along the shore. Your prayers have been answered. You shout for joy as you run to the cool waters in the oasis. After being lost in the desert for days, your priority is a long drink of water. The surrounding area is barren and dry, but springs deep beneath the earth fill the oasis with clean water. Migrating birds stop here for a drink on their long journeys. They carry seeds with them, which fall on the waterside. This forms a ring of trees around the oasis. The water and food attract other weary animals, who stay in the oasis. The result is a unique ecosystem that seems out of place in the dry desert landscape. The people in the oasis welcome you. As you recover, they tell you about their life there. People have lived in oases for thousands of years. The word itself comes from an old Egyptian word, uwahe. This means dwelling place. Ancient nomads and merchants used the oases as stopping points and sanctuaries. Over time, people began to stay and even live in them.
So as you can see, they are telling the story as if you have just arrived to an oasis, and they are going to explain how life in them is, okay? So a very rare place. Don't forget to answer these questions. Remember, you have to copy them and answer. You have to hear. Let's go to the next page.
The villagers describe sacred links between the oasis and the gods. The image of life springing from the desert is a powerful symbol. The ancient Egyptians believed that the gods created the oases to help their chosen people. They thought that the wildlife living in oases had a divine link to the gods. The Nile River acts as a very long oasis that brings life deep into Egypt. The Nile crocodile is commonly found in oases and all along the Nile River. Its image is carved into the walls of many ancient temples. The Egyptian god of protection and power, Sobek, had the body of a human but the head of a crocodile. One of the most famous oasis towns was even known as Crocodilopolis, in honor of this god. The Egyptian god Thoth had the head of a bird called an ibis. Just as ibises help bring life to the oasis, Thoth brought life to the universe. After being lost in the desert, you can see why people were impressed with any living thing that could find life in the desert. You can understand how the ancient people thought that oases were divine gifts.
Let's imagine suddenly finding water in the middle of the desert. It seemed like a miracle from the gods. Okay, so here you have the god with the ibis head. And here you have the god with the crocodile head. Egyptians had this thing, their gods usually have the body of a man and the head of an animal. Okay, let's finish. Don't forget these two questions, mark in the purple square. There. Okay, don't forget these two questions. Okay, let's go to the end of the exam, of the reading. Food.
You are nearly recovered after your long journey. The dates, figs, and olives growing nearby are some of the most delicious you have ever eaten. You wonder if you might stay a while. Of course, that would mean having to adapt to a completely new way of life. The people who live in the oasis must be very careful. If they use too much water too quickly, then the oasis will dry up and be swallowed up by the desert. Living in an oasis takes cooperation and respect for the environment. Throughout history, people have lived in harmony with nature in this fragile ecosystem. After learning about life in the oasis, you feel like you could be part of this community too. Staying might not be a bad idea.
Okay, so life in the, don't forget these two last questions. So in total we have 6. Remember, copy them on your notebook and answer them. Okay, so living in an oasis, it's think about working with others, because the water may dry out, and if the water dries out, you no longer have an oasis. You will no longer have where to live. So people have to be really, really careful with water, and they have to be really careful with the animals that live there. They are very respectful, and they take many cares to ensure that the water keeps on going. Okay, don't forget your grammar check. It's about apostrophes. Remember? The apostrophe, no, it's so. This apostrophe, the two words that make up it's. What are the two words? And here, the two words, you are nearly recovered after your long journey. How can you make you are into a contraction? Like this, it's two words, and then the two words into one. Okay, that's it. It was page 60 to 62. And now, what I want you to do is a comic summary of 8 frames, okay? You will send a picture of the comic summary. That's it. Have a great day. And see you next video.